Hey guys, welcome to creatingtracks.com, and today we're going to learn about this modulation oscillator over here. So we're going to go to our file tab and click on new sound. I'm going to select something like rough math 2. And we're going to turn this down by 12 half steps and change this to bend minus plus. Okay, I really like that. So I'm going to turn this off now, the first oscillator, and turn on the second one and pick something like multiplex. Okay, and then here is my third oscillator. All right, that sounds really good to me. So here's all three together. Okay, cool. So here's our modulation oscillator, which I'm going to turn on, and we have 4 modes inside of it. And the first 3 modes we can assign to our 3 oscillators, and that's what these numbers represent over here. This is the first, second, and third oscillator. And then we have 1 and 2 for filter, which is our filter modulation, because we only have 2 filters. So that's why we have 1 and 2. So what I'm going to do now is turn on my ring modulator for 1, 2, and 3 and move this parameter so we can see what it does. And ring modulator technically gives a bell kind of a resonance kind of a sound. So it's more like a ringing sound. So if I turn it on for my first oscillator and mute my third and second oscillator, then you're going to hear. So you may not hear what it's really doing, but if you change the pitch, then you'll hear it. And then here is our 3 oscillators together. So it's a really subtle difference, not too intense. And then here's my ring modulation on my second oscillator. Okay, cool. So I'm going to bring this down to 0, and then we're going to mess with the phase. So it's technically a phasor that you can assign to either one of the oscillators. Okay, I like the first one the most, and I can also turn this down by an octave. And then raise it by 12. And then we have our position over here, which affects our wavetable. And it modulates it based on the pitch that you assign it over here. So that sounds like this. And here's my second. So it's technically doing this, but not as intense. And here's my third. So this one has a really subtle difference, but if you change the pitch, all right, so here's a bunch of different kind of combinations that I'm going to try out. So check it out. All right, cool. So there's a bunch of things you can keep doing here. All right, so here's our filter FM, and for that I'm going to select a filter. So let's go ahead and pick something like Scream, and you're going to see that the number 1 here disappears and gets grayed out, and that is because that's just how this filter works. And we have like a band reject, and that does the same thing. You can't select it. You also can't select it on your combinator. So I'm going to go ahead and pick something like Daft. So if I play it like this and then I turn on my FM1 and I bring this pitch down to 0, then you're going to hear. So it's kind of modulating it based on this kind of a movement. But not as intense, just a little bit of character. But if I change the pitch and take it up, and then you can do the same thing to our second filter. So if I pick something like band reject, oh, it still doesn't do it. Alright guys, so that's basically what our modulation oscillator tab is about, and you can keep doing your own different kind of combinations over here, and you're going to get a lot of different kinds of sounds. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely stay tuned for more until next week. Peace!